It is Class Creatives, and in this video we'll look into what exactly is making Sony Pictures Animation's latest movie so great, and why Disney and Pixar are quickly falling behind and starting to lose the magic that they once had. And of course, like always, we're going to look at how animators use Autodesk Maya at SPA. Kpop Demon Hunters is taking over the charts on Netflix and Spotify, so we thought it would be a great idea to look at how SPA got to where they are by taking risks, and what is making their movies resonate with audiences. Pixar and Disney used to be the gold standard when it came to 3D and 2D animation, and currently SPA is taking that crown away from the ones who started it all. We'll talk about how these animations are made, the secret sauce that SPA is sprinkling into all of their films, how they decide when to use their proprietary tools to connect the audience with the characters, something that Disney and Pixar have been struggling with recently. We'll look at some of the video references that animators use to create genuine acting performances, and how SPA approaches the process based on the style of animation. And of course, as always, we'll talk about the keyframe animation process. Kpop Demon Hunters showcases how Sony Pictures is willing to take risks and still follow trending subjects to create animated stories in new ways. It also was a unique way to engage the audience with music in a movie that doesn't feel like a Broadway musical. Unlike Disney's box office financial flop Wish, which was their attempt at trying to bring an innovative visual style with paper texture and watercolors, to mostly the same formula they have been doing since the 90s, claiming the film plays tribute to the beauty and the style that has defined Disney animation for the last 100 years. But in the end, became a film that relied on nostalgia and lacked a good story, memorable characters, and had forgettable songs. Also, what did you think about Disney and Pixar's response to Elio's flop, blaming us for their blunder? Stop asking us for originals if you don't watch them.
Do you still wanna?
That's weird now.
The K-pop director started the idea during the COVID pandemic when BTS held an online concert that they viewed together with millions of other fans, bringing everyone together dancing in their homes. They wanted to bring this style of energy to an animated movie. Maggie Kang, one of the directors of the movie, stated that she wanted a storyline that would portray women the way she always wanted to see women portrayed, especially in a superhero movie. She wanted the girls to be funny and silly and goofy and messy, as well as cool and aspirational and sexy. Since they knew it would be the first animated movie that highlights Korean culture, they wanted to find a way that it could still be fun to watch, trendy, and be full of bold action. Sony Imageworks wanted to do things never seen in animation before, and in this movie they looked at Korean photography that excels at lighting faces, and they wanted to hone a style that was photographic and fashion forward. Surprisingly, the directors chose to actually move away from the 2D elements of the Spider-Verse, saying that it would be hard to beat it. So they pulled away from 2D elements and kept a majority of the movie completely CG. Instead, they chose to have inspired by 2D aesthetics with three-dimensional language.
Keep your shirt on, Bobby. We'll be there in 3.
Oh, I didn't even get to finish my ramyeon!
Why do they always interrupt our snacking?
They did choose to keep the Spider-Verse Maya workflow of using video reference and animating on 2s with a focus on camera and lens techniques to achieve a unique look that is true to the Korean style of video editing and photography. They also developed some unique tools where they could shape the characters' faces based on context in the movie so that they could still remain sincere when needed and exaggerated when they go hyper-ridiculous. And based on the audience's reception, they achieved this goal and found a way to tap into the popularity that K-pop groups bring worldwide, which is a very smart and original idea to bring something fresh to the 3D animated scene where we are seeing tons of sequels, cash grabs, and repetitive art styles. Sony and Netflix fully supported the pushed vision, which is very uncommon these days, with studios playing it safe, hoping to turn out an audience hit. Following up Sony's Into the Spider-Verse, producers Phil Lord and Chris Miller worked with the film's director Mike Riondo to create a movie that had the boldness of the Spider-Verse and to push the hand-drawn look even more so that it would have the little imperfections that happen with a human hand-drawn piece of art. The inkline tool was upgraded from what was used in Into the Spider-Verse. Forehead lines and lines in the face were hand-done by animators. The machine learning lines that the Houdini tool would create were not used in the Mitchells, according to visual effects supervisor Mike Lasker. A majority of the lines in the Mitchells were more artistic watercolor with accents in the face. The Imageworks team created some new tools that would create outlines to highlight the illustrative character forms. It featured edge detection and allowed it to automatically color and affect the underlying geometry based on the lighting. Width variation was also an option, with the ability to even blend in and out the strokes to replicate the effect of a hand-drawn marker. Ink lines were also used to emphasize clothing wrinkles or used as special effects. A lot of the facial animation also used this technique. They developed a new shader tool for moving characters through light that would enhance the watercolor marker style strokes. The brush strokes were dynamic and would react to light, rather than be static projections like traditional UV textures. They used visual styles to contrast the organic, messy human world to the clean, sharp, smooth, reflective, and glossy robot world. Inkline hair was used to help hair fit the style of other designs in the world. For Monchi the dog, who was covered in fur, the team simplified the lighting and cheated outlines on areas like the muzzle and around the eyeballs to mimic hand-drawn fur. This kept the character design in line with the world and eliminated the need to create complex fur for the dog. They wanted the trees and foliage to mimic the real thing, but still match the illustration style of everything else. Trees were simplified when seen far away. They also created a new filter for RenderMan so that the original light direction and surface qualities could be preserved, so that when light passes through, it would create patchy smears of color and shape. They developed a really unique tool that one of the supervisors had toyed with previously based on Boolean algebra, which would allow animators to draw any line through the character, then cut it in half and fill the gap with internal coloring of that shape. Another tool helped create negative space inside the character. Combined, these tools could produce an infinite number of shape combinations and designs. When it came to animation in Maya, animators relied on video reference for genuine acting shot performances. However, there were some unique challenges for the animation needs in the movie. Due to the character designs, eyes were extremely large and round and limited the use of lids or eye shapes to hit critical expressions. The mouth shapes were also graphic and exaggerated, which made it difficult for emotional scenes to hit the proper lip sync. To prevent the characters from feeling wide-eyed and always staring with fear, it took time and experimentation to stay true to the designs while making them feel relatable and grounded. Some action shots relied more on graphic shapes and poses to be more prominent than hyperrealism.
Oh, that's good. He's dancing. He's dancing.
To create the unique visuals of Katie Vision, they mixed different types of 2D animation with stock photos and sock puppets and bad green screen. They were able to achieve an imperfect and honest look, which was perfect for the storyline. It's a great example of how SBA pushed innovation in art creation workflows while keeping the story first, utilizing the technology to unify the storyline, which is what connects audiences to the characters. Is it your dream to someday work for Sony Pictures Animation? If not, feel free to skip ahead to the next section or stick around if you're just curious about what they look for in artists they want to hire. We create videos like this one to not only show you how 3D animated features are made, but to also give you a chance to learn the exact workflows necessary for your career or even your own personal projects. Most feature animation studios will want Maya Experience or something equivalent if you're an animator, and ZBrush or equivalent for character sculpting. Several of our instructors actually work for Sony, and you can learn from them in our courses covering everything from animation and rigging to environment and game design and character creation. We'll have some links in the description if you're interested in taking your art in a new direction with us.
Are these your drawings?
What? No.
Good.
When it comes to the Spider-Verse, there's a lot to unpack on how they completely changed 3D animation forever with both movies. If you are new to our channel, you might want to check out some of the videos we have created already, breaking down how these visually stunning movies were created at SPA. Their early experimental animation tests with Alberto Mielgo and his team of artists are what paved a lot of the way for SPA's now signature look of hand-painted and organic 3D models that look hand-drawn. We did a full video extensively covering this workflow and showing insights into the tests they created to achieve the results, so check that one out if you haven't already. If it weren't for Alberto's team taking a new approach to the medium back in 2015, we may not be where we are today with this new look we are seeing now. Of course, studios like Fortiche also are contributing a lot to new styles in 3D as well, and also are revolutionizing TV episodic content forever. And it will also be really exciting to see how that space evolves after Arcane. SPA tends to bring out all of their best tools for their Spider-Verse franchise. Their machine learning ink line tool that creates bridge lines and chin lines as characters turn their heads were improved on the sequel to enhance the hand-drawn feel, combining procedural and hand-drawn frames, merging the two together, bringing extra life to the textures and lines seen in the final renders. Advancements in virtual camera shot creation with their Flixiverse tool helped artists work directly in the 3D scenes, cutting down production time. The brushstrokes were visually pushed further by illustrators using Pachibami, a tool to give unique surfaces to 3D assets and shots. SPA used specific techniques to enhance the characters visually on screen. Rebel created Gwen's drippy watercolor world reflecting her mood, and cutout silhouettes were used to bring Hobie's paper cutout silhouette to life using their Step Sets tool. Miguel's hair used ImageWorks' proprietary tool Fiber to groom brushstrokes onto the character's specific contours. For Spot, artists were given complete artistic freedom using Blender's grease pencil to draw lines directly on 3D models, applying traditional 2D animation to the 3D assets. These are some of the amazing examples of how technology and tools can be used to bring fresh visual ideas to the screen, removing some of the redundancy that can take artists out of their flow and can better focus on the art itself. It's always exciting to see what SPA is going to bring technology-wise to their Spider-Verse worlds as they continue to set the bar higher and higher for themselves and their competition. Over the years, Sony Pictures Animation has grown from its signature franchise animation styles of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and Hotel Transylvania. They've gone and taken their pushed cartoony, over-the-top style animation to a more graphic and handcrafted look that has been forcing the big 3D animation studios like Disney, Pixar, and DreamWorks to have to change their safe art styles or face the painful outcome of their movies bombing at the box office. Sony took some big risks, moving out of only producing sequels that they were known for, and creating some new stories, making great use of new 3D techniques to enhance storylines and engage new audiences. It's not easy to make a hit from new stories, and we can see how movies after The Mitchells vs. the Machines, such as Wish Dragon and Vivo, helped them develop workflows and elements in their widely successful recent movies Across the Spider-Verse and Kpop Demon Hunters, becoming one of the biggest players in the 3D animated feature space, dictating a lot of what other studios will have to match to stay competitive in art, storylines, characters, and art techniques, to get the attention of audiences who are becoming tired of the same 3D animated look every sequel is having. It will be very interesting to see how other 3D animated studios adapt and try to keep up with Sony Pictures Animation. They'll need to start redefining their signature looks and moving away from playing it safe, if they want to grab the attention away from what SPA has been producing recently. This competition is really great for not just the art form, but the audiences who get to see these shifts in the feature animation industry. The Spider-Verse brings comic books to life, Arcane pushed the steampunk fantasy theme, The Wild Robot brought storybooks to life, The Mitchells vs. the Machines made everything feel handmade, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem revived the franchise with Teenage Scribbles. Think you smell GPT? Well, we don't use AI to generate our scripts or make our videos.
For the fans!
And we hope you enjoyed our insights and the research that we did for this video, diving into tons of Instagram posts, interviews, and documentaries to highlight Sony Pictures Animation process together. SPA has been on fire lately. What are some of your favorite movies from them, and what are you looking forward to from them in the future? Is Beyond the Spider-Verse at the top of your list? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Perfect.